I've had clients in their late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
She used to come from North Delhi.
My God.
So she used to commute for an hour to come to the Gurgaon studio to work out in the morning and then go to work from there.
Oh my God.
And I remember after a year of being so consistent, she just sent me this message, and I still have it till date, that today, after almost 8 years, for the first time in my life, I wore a sleeveless top.
How sweet.
And I feel so empowered and so confident, and I have you to thank for. That to me is transformation. It doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter how
Right.
many kilos you've lost, but are you back in love with your own body?
Yeah.
And are you respecting your own body for the things that it can do and for how you feel? That to me is the true transformation. Some days I will feel amazing when I'm working out. Some days I will just feel like a little jello who is unable to even lift her leg up.
Right.
But am I still showing up? Because if I can walk away feeling even 5% better, then that's progress.
Hi. Welcome to Hash Brown, where conversations are served crispy, real, and with a little bit of fun. Today's episode is about flexibility and strength and balance. Not only physical balance, but mental balance. I have with me today the owner and the founder of Studio Red Mat Pilates, an expert in Pilates herself, Ms. Taru Chadha. She has transformed countless lives and continues to do so today, helping them find their physical and mental balance. She is 50, she looks like 30, but she feels and thinks like 20, and she smiles like 16. Let us understand more about her journey in Pilates, about Red Mat Studio, and explore the magic of Pilates. Hi, Taru.
Hi Niharika, thank you for such a warm welcome.
It's a pleasure to have you on my show. I've been waiting for this.
No, absolutely thrilled to be here.
Yes, so Pilates. I really want my audiences to know that when we think of workout and fitness, we think of gym training, weight training, yoga, and Pilates is now picking up. But I think I want you to sort of give that difference between workout when we speak of health training, gym versus Pilates versus yoga, and what is really Pilates.
So, Pilates is a form of movement which is towards low resistance training,
Mhm.
and we call it a complete mind body exercise
Mhm.
because every movement has a specific rhythm and an intention behind it.
Mhm.
And unlike other forms of movement, there are no breaks in it. So, it's
Oh,
a very holistic combination of strength with focus on breath, with focus on alignment.
okay.
So, it makes it kind of a combination of all the different forms in one place.
So you're saying that it's correct to say that Pilates has weight training
Mhm,
and the flexibility that we get from yoga
mhm.
and the strength training of both.
Absolutely. So you get the mindfulness from yoga, you get the flexibility from
Oh,
yoga,
interesting.
you get the benefit of building
Okay.
muscle through strength training. Yeah, and I would also say a little bit of mind body connection that you'd normally get through meditation
Yeah,
and breath work.
sure. So how did your journey in Pilates happen? What was your first calling? Was it your calling? Was it a chance of luck, a stroke of luck, or strongly thought over decision?
So, actually, by chance,
Really?
I have been called a serial entrepreneur
Mm-hmm.
because running Red Mat Pilates now is actually my fifth entrepreneurial
Wow.
journey.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've been kind of at it.
That's
This
commendable.
actually happened in the middle of a break when I was in the middle of sort of figuring out what I wanted to do next.
Mm-hmm.
And I started working out
Mm-hmm.
because my own health was taking a backseat. And I had experimented with a lot of different movements. So you
Mm.
name it, I have done it.
Okay.
And somehow nothing stuck with me. If anything, I ended up with a lot of injuries.
Ah,
And at
yeah.
this point in time,
Yeah.
you kind of relate to
I
that,
know, I
yes.
know, always. Yeah.
And at that point in time, I was a woman in my mid 30s.
Mm-hmm.
I already had two kids, and
Wow.
my body wasn't feeling my own anymore.
Hmm.
When you reach that stage where you feel like you want to get stronger, but you're just not able to find the path on how to get to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Um, and somebody just told me about Pilates. And I said, okay, let me give it a go since I've already experimented with so many other things. And I remember coming back from my first class feeling taller.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
feeling a little bit more connected,
Yes.
feeling a little bit
yes.
more centered.
Yeah.
And for the first time in my life, I wasn't dying after a workout, but I
Ah.
was feeling so strong. And I was like, I might be on to something that actually is the sweet spot between very intense workout and something very slow.
Right.
I needed
right.
something which is a great mix of everything.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, and then I did that, and I did that for about a year as a student. And at the end of it, I think one of my friends told me that since you seem to be so fond of it, why don't you explore doing it as a
Yeah.
profession?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we are now talking about 15 years ago,
Wow. 15
15 years
years.
of doing this.
Wow.
Um,
You've been a veteran already in this field of Pilates. And I think, as far as I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, because we're both from the north and Gurgaon, the same place.
Mhm.
So I can vouch for it and say that I think you're one of the first people who bought Pilates to Gurgaon.
Yeah,
See?
we were the first.
I've done my
studio.
homework.
Yes, we were the first Pilates studio
Yeah.
in Gurgaon for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, and from my own experience,
Mhm.
I had realized that a shortcut teacher course was not something that I was looking for. I wanted something that was very science based. I have always been a science student. Human anatomy has always been a personal interest.
Wow.
So it just seemed to be fated. It brought in together everything that I was interested in
Wow.
and had a natural sort of leaning towards too.
Right.
And so I went for my training abroad. And again, first day of the training, I knew in my blood that this was something I would do for the rest of my life.
Exciting,
I was very
exciting.
excited. Yeah.
Wow.
Until
wow.
date, I feel the same excitement when I step into the studio.
See, it's not that's important, because when we work out, usually we have to really, find a lot of motivation, or find a lot of external support and external push to put you into the gym or into the yoga, whether it's maybe a fear of falling ill, or maybe recovery, or making that body, or whatever the criteria must be.
Yeah.
But I think with Pilates, as I hear you, is you always want to go back organically because you feel good after the first session. Yeah.
Yeah, and how many times? Look, I mean, exercise by itself is amazing. I
Yeah.
feel everybody should have some form of movement
Correct.
for sure,
Right.
whatever be it,
Mhm.
right? But with Pilates, and again from my own experience, we have always tried not to make it boring.
Oh yeah.
I can't be not enjoying the movement. It's not a punishment for your body.
Yeah.
You're doing it because you love it and you feel great
Absolutely.
after it.
Yeah, right. So let's talk about your training and
Mhm.
your journey from the training days to now, venturing into your studio. And I also want to understand from you the story behind the name Red Mat.
Yeah, sure.
And it sounds really very exciting and tempting too. And also generates a lot of curiosity. Ah, Red Mat, okay.
Yeah, like what does it mean?
What does it
I get
mean?
that question a lot actually.
Yeah.
So, my own journey of training
Yeah.
and learning Pilates started on a mat that was red in color.
Ah.
So, that is the genesis of it.
Wow. That
Okay.
is just so pure and so real and so relatable.
Yeah, like that is where I found my body.
Mhm.
That is where I rediscovered myself as a woman, if I can say that.
Sure.
And also, it brings forth, the essence of strength and power and transformation, everything that I wanted to bring forth in the studio that I was setting up. So it just seemed like the perfect name.
Okay, and let's talk about our training days. How much training do you think it's required for somebody who wants to become maybe an aspiring trainer in Pilates? Is it very rigorous? Is it very long? Is it theoretical?
You know, Niharika, my mom tells me that if I had studied this much in school and college,
Oh my God.
I would have been a world class leading surgeon today. Well, it never happened. Okay. So, I don't think I've studied as much
Mhm.
as I have after choosing this career. And so, to answer your question, it completely depends on your own personal motivation. Okay. So, if you do and now we are also doing Pilates teacher certifications.
Oh,
Like
right.
Red Mat runs those
Okay.
for people who are
Right.
aspiring to be Pilates teachers. So, just to give you an idea, to become certified in just one piece of equipment, and Pilates has about 5 or 6 of them,
Mhm.
you need at least 100 hours of training, at
Wow.
least minimum. So, the whole gamut to become a fully certified Pilates teacher, you need about anywhere from 450 to 600 hours. It depends on the school of certification that
Right,
you're
sure,
going to. So,
sure.
it's a pretty big investment in
Mhm.
terms of money, time, energy,
Mhm.
and dedication. Apart from that, so that was my basic certification that I did from
Okay.
Stott Pilates. And then apart from that, because I was curious to know more, it's not like if you try bread, then you just stick with one type. If you have that interest, then you'll go and kind of explore. Okay, let me just see what else can I
Right.
do
Yeah.
around it. So
Yeah.
that's where I went with my career, and I went on to do more certifications. So in terms of manual testing, just sort of figuring out how
Oh,
do
okay.
muscles work. A lot of courses in anatomy.
Hmm.
One of my most life-changing courses has been the cadaver dissection course.
You've done that?
I have.
Really?
Yeah.
You're half medico already. I mean, she's half
So-
doctor.
So yeah. And I hope to continue studying further and
Nice.
further. So at any given
Wow.
point in time, I always have 4 courses that I'm sort of exploring with.
This
Yeah.
is exciting and very, I don't know, this is thought provoking. So, normally, anybody who's into a fitness training would not be asked to do kind of,
Sure.
dissect a body for easy understanding.
Sure.
But in Pilates, and I understand there is a lot of theory, there should be practical, and then there is this.
No, that
Why?
is just me. It's not required to
Oh,
be a teacher.
okay.
Not required to be a teacher, but this is just my own personal interest.
And but how has that helped you in Pilates?
Look, my thought is that let's say you just want to be a chef.
Hmm.
Wouldn't you want to go into a kitchen garden and see how the plants are grown?
Oh my, I love it.
You understand? So if I'm going to be a movement teacher, why should I not know how the human body really operates and looks like? Because I'm working with humans the entire day.
Right.
So, and then to see real life, what the human body actually looks like from within,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and how does, when I'm doing a certain movement or when I'm thinking of a certain joint or a muscle, or just how do two muscles interact with each other, and I get to see it.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It just completely changes the perspective of how then I approach it in my
Hmm.
clients.
Excellent. Right. So, you spoke of the entire gamut of Pilates. It has a lot of tools and a lot of equipments and whatever. Let's talk about that.
Sure.
So, you think does it have a level? So, if I'm a beginner in Pilates and I walk into the studio, will there be a level that I need to start with, a particular equipment I need to start with?
Not at all.
Really?
Not at all. You can just jump into Pilates at whatever level you're in. If you've never moved in your life, Pilates works for you.
Really?
If you're an Olympic athlete, Pilates works for you. We cover the entire gamut. And that is the beauty of this exercise form, that it will meet you where you are and then take you from there.
So also there is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is this a myth or a fact that we've heard that, Pilates is only for people who've had some kind of injury, who are recovering from an injury, and it helps you fix your, alignment better, purely.
Oh, well, the alignment part is true
Mhm.
because there's so much of emphasis on creating movement through the right muscle sequencing. So if I was to break that down,
Yeah.
let's say that you have to raise your arm up, right? Now you can raise your arm up in multiple different ways. Okay. How do we create the most efficient order of muscle activation so that you can continue doing that effortlessly, no matter what weight you're trying to lift, of course, with training,
Nice.
without creating injuries.
Okay.
So that is what Pilates will teach you,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Sorry. And your question was you need to have a certain level of sort of fitness, or
So-
if you're totally injured.
Right. Whether you're a broken body, let's say you're recovering from an injury, or you're a virgin workout person, or you've never been to the gym, or you've been working out extensively into the, that high level of
Hmm.
workout training.
Hmm.
Are there any levels for people who want to start Pilates that,
No.
you've had a history of working out, therefore
Not at all.
you can go to the advanced level, go to the
Not
reformer
at all.
directly?
I think you just need to approach it with an open mind.
Mhm.
Be curious about learning a different way of moving,
Yeah.
and Pilates is for you.
So what really happens in Pilates when we use the tools? And I've done a few classes myself, and I realized that there is a mat and there is a reformer. And when I look at the celebrities doing the Cadillac,
Yeah.
it looks beautiful and
So fancy.
so fluid movement and everything. And trust me, I tried it one time and I failed miserably. I was asked to go back to the mats immediately.
What are you saying? No,
No,
not
it's-
at all.
It was tough for me.
Well, maybe then the trainer didn't take you through the right exercises
Yeah.
which were suitable for your body.
But this was not in India, so that's why.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, I'm very disheartened to hear that. No, not
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
So, see, traditionally, Pilates was meant to be done just one on one. Okay.
Okay.
So, the different pieces of equipment that we have
Yeah.
think of it as a banquet.
Oh.
You're supposed to pick and choose as per your liking what your body needs that day, and then you put a combination of that and make your plate. I don't know why I'm talking so much about food right now, okay? But that is what it is today.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when we look at a Pilates studio and when you look at a personal session, or as we call it, a private session,
Right. Yeah.
you're supposed to be working out on pretty much every single piece of the Pilates equipment, because every equipment has a certain usage. Okay. So I might, and the different pieces, I might put you on the mat for something, then I might take you on the reformer for something.
I see.
Then I might use the Cadillac for something else. Then I might put you on a barrel for something else. I might use the chair for something else. But single private session can have a combination of 2 or more pieces of apparatus, as we call it.
All right. All right.
Now, what has happened is, because the Pilates education is so expensive and the apparatus is so expensive,
Yep.
the private sessions become very expensive.
Sure. Sure.
Right? And then affordability kicks in, and a lot of people don't have those budgets.
Sure.
And that's completely fine. So then, to make it accessible to a larger population, then studios started breaking it down into mat and reformer group classes.
Oh, all right. Now I get it. I see. All right.
Right? And then some studios will also have chair group classes.
Right. Right.
Right? And so then, why do we start with the mat? Because it's the safest place to be in. Right? Mat is just you and your body. So there are lesser chances of injuries. You have a bigger scope of making mistakes.
Yeah.
You get tired, you can just sit down. The reformer doesn't give you that flexibility, you know, and you've been on the reformer, right?
Yes.
So if you're going, you can't just stop on the reformer and say, okay, I'm done, I'm tired.
Yeah.
You kind of have to be with the flow, especially in a group session.
Yeah, right.
So that's why we just created this whole little bit of hierarchy. Okay, do the mat first. Get familiar with the exercises. Get familiar with the terminology. Then move on to the reformer, because it's definitely more challenging.
Yeah.
You have more resistance. It pushes your body harder.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then Cadillac becomes then the third layer, because the Cadillac, the springs are harder. You have to do much more of upper body weight. And as a woman, traditionally, women will not have a very high strength in the upper body.
Yeah.
Some women definitely do. I have clients who they're like fabulous with doing upper body stuff. But most women don't. So that's why we say, okay, do the reformer, build some strength,
Right.
and then move on to the Cadillac.
Okay.
But as such, there is no such hierarchy. You can just do a private session and do every single thing.
All right. And do you think Pilates is only for men or women? Because we mostly see women doing it.
Yeah, I don't know where that happened, because
Yeah.
the man who invented it, Joseph
Exactly.
Pilates,
That's ironical, isn't it?
was an amazingly good looking, very strong man. So I don't know where this whole myth has come from.
So all the men watching,
Yes,
you should know.
please give it a go. In fact, we've had the privilege of training some men,
Oh, wow.
and whoever has tried it, they have loved it so much. See,
Yeah.
because it brings in that mindfulness, it brings in that awareness of your own body. You're not just chucking weights around.
Right.
Right? And you're being very intentional with the movement that you create.
Mhm.
And it definitely is a lot harder because you can't cheat.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
if I'm asking you to hold a plank, then I'm asking you to hold a plank with the proper muscle activation. You're not
Right.
just, overusing your lower back
Right.
or not using your glutes at all, or
Correct.
just using your shoulders to hold it. So when you do something properly, it gets harder.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I was going through your website about on the Red Mat Studio website. Very interesting, and it's my favorite statement. Always it says that your body transforms after 8 sessions. After
10.
4 sessions, you feel good, something like that.
So that was Joseph Pilates' quote,
Yeah.
that you'll start, you start seeing the change in 10, you
Mhm.
start feeling the change in 20, and then you have a completely new body in 30.
Is that true?
If you're consistent, yes.
And speaking of consistency, what is the duration for particularly someone to get that body into the changing mode?
Yeah, I wish I had a great answer for that. It honestly sort of depends on where you are starting off in your journey towards fitness, where you are. And then what is your ultimate goal? How do you define fitness for yourself?
Ah, okay.
Right? So
Alright,
I
makes
have
sense.
worked with women who are plus 60.
What?
Sure. I have a client who's 70 and she's
What?
amazing, and people have seen her and they're like, who is that lady? She's so strong.
Oh my God.
So yeah, Internationally,
Brilliant.
you have people who are 90 still doing Pilates.
Wow.
So, like I said, it meets you at every stage. But then the fitness goal for a 90-year-old person is
Of
going to be very
course.
different for a 70-year-old person, is going to be very different for a 50-year-old person, very different for a 24-year-old person.
Hmm.
So, it kind of really depends on how you define fitness.
Sure.
But you definitely feel taller.
Yeah.
You feel stronger. There's more energy in your body. There's
Yeah.
definitely more confidence that you are coming in with. There are lesser injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it just does great things, even in something as short as 10 classes,
Brilliant. So is longevity synonymous with Pilates?
for sure.
Really?
Absolutely. Look, your spine is healthier. And if you were to look at any exercise form
Mm-hmm.
and any healing modality, where do they always start with? It's the spine.
Yeah, yeah.
So if your spine is healthy, your entire body is going to be healthy. And
Of
along with
course.
the spine, we are now looking at breath,
Hmm.
efficient usage of the breath, how to breathe more efficiently,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So then your brain is better,
Wow.
right? Your energy levels are higher,
Sure.
right? And then because you're doing the movements mindfully,
Mm-hmm.
you have fewer injuries. Your joints are
Hmm.
moving better, your muscles are moving better. So
Okay.
all of those things together will contribute to better longevity.
So there is no age for anyone to start Pilates. You could be in 40s, 70s,
For
60s. You just
sure. I
start.
mean, I started at 35.
Then you don't even look that 50. Let's start with that. And coming to the next question about 50,
Yes.
I'm only interested in the 40s bracket because especially because of the premenopausal age
Oh,
group.
yeah.
And do you think in that age group and especially for the premenopausal age group only, is it very effective and how does it help with that,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
I'm so happy
situation?
that you're asking these questions, Niharika, because I think there needs to be more awareness and a little bit of sensitivity around perimenopause and menopause.
Of course. High
And I
time.
do see that happening now.
Yeah, sure.
And, it's not just a thing that women are thinking in their head,
Mm-hmm.
it's actually happening in their bodies.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about perimenopause, a couple of things happen. And I'll just very quickly sort of touch upon those
No,
points.
no, please take your
So
time.
your hormones are dropping.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So your progesterone, your estrogen, everything is going down, including testosterone in women,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah,
also contributes to strength. Now, estrogen and progesterone are linked with your muscle mass, your bone density, your anxiety, and sleep, amongst other things.
yeah. Yeah.
I once did a course where they spoke about menopause.
Mm-hmm.
And believe you me, there are about 200 different things
What?
that can happen to a woman's body when she's undergoing perimenopause and
Oh my
menopause,
goodness.
including cancer and heart stress. So there are 200 different elements that how menopause can show up as, okay? But just talking about the big ones here,
Yeah, yeah.
when we talk about managing muscle,
Yeah.
Pilates is great for that. You obviously need to do a little bit more progressive loading.
Okay.
You can't just stay at the same. Let's say we're talking about the reformers. You don't stay at the same resistance.
Of
You
course.
have to
You
add
progress.
external
Yeah, yeah. You
weights.
progress. Yeah.
Like so, we do try and add more kettlebell work to it, higher weights
Oh, right.
along with the work because we want to build muscle strength
Right.
for our clients. Then it talks about lowering cortisol,
Wow.
right? Because cortisol will then add to more belly fat, it will add to higher anxiety, it will
Right.
add to more stress in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Pilates, being a mind body form of movement, will lower your cortisol down.
Nice. Really?
Yeah.
We've all been fighting about how to manage stress. This is your answer, people watching. Please manage your stress. Get that
Oh, yeah.
cortisol going down with Pilates. Do it for God's sake. I
Yeah.
advocated high time. Believe me. I mean, I spoke to you earlier that I've had this major history of back pains and spine going for a toss and everything. And like you, I also went to just take a trial at the studio, and there's never been a comeback from there. I miss not going to the workout sessions one day, and I've seen the difference. After I work out, I feel like, oh my god, the light around you.
Yeah.
You suddenly feel like, oh wow, you attained nirvana, so to say.
You know that this was missing in my life,
Yeah,
and now I can do everything else.
I don't know, something happens and you automatically get that strength. There is a visible and evident amount of change happening.
In
And
the body, for
as a
sure.
client, whatever I've done, I can say it and I can vouch for it. So, yes, that certainly something happens. Yeah. So,
I mean, and then there's this whole element of breath, how you're breathing through an exercise. There's a very particular form of breath, inhales and exhales. Now imagine when you're focusing so much on these 3, 4 different aspects.
Right.
To me, Pilates has always been a moving meditation. That
Wonderful.
1 hour is just me
Wonderful.
on the mat or on the machine, and nothing else matters. You don't have time to think about anything else. So imagine doing all of that for your body. And then when those 60 minutes are over, you're ready to take on whatever it is.
So do you think that in the premenopausal age, and I'm coming back to that topic again, is women should, probably start when they're in the premenopausal age or a little much before that?
Look, ideally, you should be doing some kind of sport or exercise right from your 20s. Okay, because that
Okay.
is the time for you to really build on the muscle strength, bone density, make your bones stronger when you have the energy and the hormones supporting and guiding you. But having said that, like I keep saying, there is no right age to start exercising. I
Ah,
got my mother into strength training when she
really?
was 65.
Really?
Today she's lifting weights.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was like, listen, enough of your whatever it is that you're doing with your walks and everything. But the fact is, now you're 65, you still need to retain, if not build your muscle mass.
Sure.
And she's at it.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Wow.
there is no right or wrong age.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, during perimenopause is the most critical time to try and at least hold on to the muscle mass that you have. Look, we lose 8% of our muscle mass every decade post 30s. And that's a huge amount.
It's a huge amount.
That's a
Yeah.
huge amount,
Yeah.
right? So,
Sure.
and there's a myth that you can't build muscle when
Yeah.
you're perimenopausal or menopausal, and that's not true.
Oh,
I'm a living testament for it.
wow.
Okay, your perimenopause starts anywhere 10 to 15 years before you hit menopause.
My God. Oh my God. You're practically young,
So,
practically young for a very short time
very,
then.
very short time. So for women, either you're perimenopausal or you're postmenopausal, and that's the life
Oh my
story. Okay.
God.
And before that, you have puberty to deal with. So it's a tough life.
I know.
But yes, so if you're perimenopausal, let's say at 30, because your mom got menopause at 45,
Mm-hmm.
30 is a great age to start working out, start building muscle,
Mm-hmm.
start looking after your bone strength, start
Right.
lifting more weights.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, any time is a good time to start working out.
Okay. So do you think is there a particular favorite move of yours that you and which of course when I say favorite I mean your favorite, but a
For me
move
to
that
move like I like to do.
in Pilates, well,
Okay,
while
sure.
you're teaching the clients,
Right.
there's got to be a special or a favorite move of yours, which, by the way, your clients absolutely hate.
Oh, okay. There's so many, it's very hard for me to pinpoint a particular one. But I particularly like working the obliques and the upper body.
Okay.
I'm very fond of kind of strengthening the shoulder for women because I've realized over a period of time that women tend to shy away from doing any kind of shoulder loading work,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
also somehow, I don't know if you agree with me, but I find most women holding their stress around their neck
Yeah.
and their
Yeah.
shoulders,
Sure. Sure.
isn't it?
Yeah. Sure.
So, yeah, I'm very fond of training the upper body.
Oh,
And women
nice.
just shy away from it, and I'm like, get back into it.
Wow. Speaking of transformations, have you had any real life examples in your entire journey of Pilates where you think that, yes, I've nailed it and I've seen that transition or the transformation happen
For my
for your
clients,
clients?
okay, because I am a living example of it,
Of
but
course.
sure. Oh my God, there's so many of them. One of them actually is a lady who you're very familiar with, who
Mhm.
is now the most amazing kick-ass trainer that Red Mat
Of
has,
course. Of
Sonal.
course. Of course.
So I love talking about her. She has such an empowering journey. She came to us because she wasn't happy with the way that she was looking, and she was a few kilos overweight.
Yeah.
And then she came to us as a client, started working out. And I think within a year or so, she fell so much in love with the form of movement that she wanted to become a teacher herself. And now Sonal has been in the system
Wow.
as a Pilates teacher herself for the
Exciting.
last 6, 7 years.
Wow. Wonderful.
And her transformation is an example I would want everybody to follow just through pure dedication and consistency. I've had clients in their late 20s
Mhm.
who were not very confident about how they looked, how they felt. And I still remember this girl came to me. She used to come from North Delhi.
My God.
So she used to commute for an hour to come to the Gurgaon studio to work out in the morning and then go to work from there.
Oh my God.
And I remember after a year of being so consistent, she
Mhm.
just sent me this message, and I still have it till date, that today, after almost 8 years, for the
Mm.
first time in my life, I wore a sleeveless top.
How sweet.
And I feel so empowered and so confident, and I have you to thank for. And that to me is transformation. It doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter how many
Right.
kilos you've lost, but are you back in love with your own body?
Yeah.
And are you respecting your own body for the things that it can do and for
Hmm.
how you feel? That to me is the true transformation.
Excellent.
You
Excellent.
know. So I have so many other
Wow.
stories like that.
Yeah. Wow. This is phenomenal. Do you think, Pilates is more about mental strength than physical strength? And why I'm asking is that if there could be a client or a situation where a client is physically very weak, but mentally very strong, or vice versa, how do you strike a balance there? And what has been your fixes for that?
Honestly, I think it's a lot about just making a commitment to yourself and promising yourself that you have to show up no matter what. So, somewhere, a lot of exercise is a lot more about mental strength.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
who wants to undergo pain voluntarily?
Yeah. Oh, I love pain.
Hala, I think I should go and like punish and push my
Punish my
body.
abs and punish
Yeah,
my core.
yeah. Nobody said that,
I know, I know.
right? But it's a
Yeah.
lot about, you know what? I have made this promise to myself. And especially as a woman who has so many responsibilities. And I'm not talking about the fact, oh, that you have to have a family to feel that sense of responsibility.
Sure.
You could totally be a single woman thriving by yourself, but you're still running a house. You still have parents to look after. You may have siblings. You may have pets. You have your own work. It's just so much, along with the hormone fluctuation
Oh
that,
my God.
hello, just comes as a free gift to all of us.
Yeah, right.
So then, how do you carve that time for yourself? And then, day in and day out, week after week after week, you make a promise to yourself that I will show up no matter what.
Right.
Some days I will feel amazing when I'm working out. Some days I will just feel like a little jello who is unable to even lift her leg up.
Right.
But am I still showing up?
Hmm.
Because if I can walk away feeling even 5% better, then that's progress.
No, absolutely. I agree. But speaking of that, have you had any cases where you've had clients who've, totally been physically very, very weak and broken, but mentally they're very, very strong? So, because what happens is in that situation, mostly as a client or as a student, you do not know your level of, putting an end to it because you're operating from mental capacity.
Yes.
So, how do you
Yeah.
manage that?
I have people who overshow up.
Really? How does that
Look,
happen?
there is something to be said about mental resilience.
Yeah.
And then there is something to be said about, and now we're delving a little bit into trauma work.
Please, please.
Okay.
That's what I was heading.
Because,
Yes.
and I see this more again, if I could say, in women who are above 35.
Mm-hmm.
Because of work or because of responsibilities, there is this huge tendency for us to put ourselves last.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're so used to showing up for other people and so used to just showing up, whether
Yeah.
you're feeling up to it or not up to
Mhm.
it, that when you do show up for a workout also, you will give more than what is required. And so your body is hurting,
Hmm.
but you've told yourself, no, I have to do this. And I have to do this like 110%.
Right.
And those are the people that I say, okay, listen, can you please be nice to yourself?
Hmm.
Can you please not take the 10 kg weight and maybe today we can work with a 2 kg weight? And there is no reason for you to feel bad about it.
I think that is correctly said. So that is also a challenge because when we head out into the space of workout, we think that in 3 days I'm going to bring it
Be
on, break
perfect.
the leg, and just get my abs in
Yeah.
place and just shape myself to the
Yeah.
T. It doesn't happen
Yeah.
overnight. I think
Like, I want to be in the gym for 2 hours.
people do that.
I will go in the morning and then I'm going to go for a workout in the evening. So, morning I'm going to do strength training, evening I'm going to do Pilates and yoga. And then the next day in the morning, I'm going for a 10-kilometer run. And I'm like, well, what is the need to do all this?
Yeah, of
Your
course.
body is hurting. How about you just slow down a little bit? And this is again where we start talking about the cortisol levels and how you're just
Oh,
building the
yeah.
anxiety a layer upon
Hmm.
layer. And then you're wondering why your body is not looking the way you want it to look because you've pushed it
Oh,
beyond a limit. And this is
right.
also something that I, as a movement teacher, now I'm exploring that how do I build in this element of sort of doing a little bit more healing work.
Right.
See, because everything is interconnected,
Absolutely.
right? So
Absolutely.
your mind and your body and your emotional self, everything comes together when we
Mhm.
talk about body work.
That's true.
So I'm hoping to go a little bit in that realm
No, you
over the
should.
next
Sure.
5 years. And that's a
Sure.
vision I have for me,
Wow.
where I
Wow.
can build in sort of that field of work as well,
Wonderful.
along with the
I think much
physical
needed.
movement.
I
Yes.
think so. But when you say that, and I feel that a Pilates studio is more of a physical and mental, and a soul
Mhm.
connection altogether. So
Absolutely.
that, and we usually give what you give 1 hour a session or
Yes.
more
Well, 1 hour is enough.
is enough.
1 hour is
Hmm.
enough.
So, do you also have clients who take a session with you for that 1 hour dedicatedly, and then they also think that, oh, maybe I want to do my gymming in the evening and do my kickboxing or maybe my cycling or whatever.
Yes, they do. But I think now, with so much of information coming in, there's a lot more awareness that there needs to be a healthy mix. So,
So you
so
advocate that.
I definitely recommend that you should do different forms of movement. And
Oh,
again, for this, I always use the food analogy. Whatever is your favorite food, what if I said this is the only thing that you can have for the next 1 year?
oh, right. So, oh, right, interesting. So you're saying that we shouldn't be really just doing one form of activity, like just do Pilates. So you are for it that okay, combine more things.
Absolutely.
Oh, good,
Please go explore swimming, go jog, go do cycling.
interesting.
I don't know, do strength training, go do Zumba, whatever, go play a sport,
Uh huh.
go
Okay.
hiking. The
Oh.
human body is meant to move.
Hmm.
I'm saying use the Pilates training to do everything properly
Okay.
with intention, with mindfulness, with the awareness of your body that this is how you create movement. So even if you are swimming,
Mm-hmm.
you should know, okay, then this is how I use my glutes
Mm-hmm.
to create more power and efficiency in my swimming. This is how my breath
Ah.
should work, right? If I'm
Hmm.
doing strength training and I have taught you how to do a proper bicep curl, then when you're doing heavy weights in the gym, please do the bicep curls properly. Don't swing your whole body along with it,
Yeah.
which is what you end up seeing, right?
Always.
Right?
Always.
When you're
Yeah.
doing squats or when you're doing your lunges, squats and lunges are meant primarily for your glutes. If you're feeling it only in your thighs and nothing in your glutes, then that's not a squat or a lunge. You're not getting anything out of it, even if
Hmm.
you're loading your body with a 20 kg, bench.
Right. So speaking of movement, somebody who's had a very busy or who has a very hectic schedule and is at the desk all the time, do you think there could be any Pilates movement moves that they can probably incorporate in their day-to-day
Yes,
lives?
please. You
You
can
can?
do some basic side bends. See, the main thing that happens in a desk based job,
Yeah.
especially,
Hmm.
is that people tend to be stuck in the same posture,
Yeah.
or they then tend to slouch and lean towards
Hmm.
just one side because you're just so focused on getting the work done.
Hmm.
And I'm also assuming that when you say desk based bound,
Hmm.
we're also talking about a lot of laptop work.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Sitting work,
Okay.
laptop work, yes,
So,
all
a
of
couple
that.
of things are happening here. Okay.
Sure.
One is like we are sitting right now, and I'm sitting with one leg crossed over.
Yeah.
So, my body is heavier on one side.
Hmm.
And I keep doing this repeatedly, I don't know, for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Do you see how now my entire body will start leaning towards one side?
Oh, good Lord.
So it's important to change and then be very aware that you're creating some change in how you sit.
Uh-huh.
That's one. Two, you're looking forward. So your body is again biased towards any just one direction. It's important to create a little bit more movement in the opposite direction and other directions, which would basically be your rotations
Hmm.
and a little bit of stretch through your back.
All right.
So you're taking your spine into other directions as well. Okay. But most importantly, it's your eyes. Because your
Okay.
eyes, wherever your eyes go, is where your body will go. So if I ask you to look down right now, see where your body will go. And if I ask you to look up, see where your body will go.
Interesting.
Do you see? So if when you fixate your eyes, and there has been so much of research
Mm-hmm.
that your brain, 70% of your brain responds to your eyes and your ears.
Okay.
Okay. So if your eyes are only now fixated in one direction, which is what happens when you're looking at your phone and at your laptop
Yeah.
for so
Yeah.
many hours,
Yep.
you lose the ability for peripheral movement.
Okay.
And you also lose the ability neurologically for your brain to work at a smarter, sharper pace
Oh, wow.
because you're not using your eyes enough.
Wow. Who would have thought of that?
Yeah. So, neuromotor activation again is a space that I
Okay.
have very keen interest in. And you can make massive changes in your injuries and movement by just simply training your eyes
So, and that can
and
happen through
impacting your brain.
Pilates. You mean the neural fixes?
Yes, yes, yes. There's a
Really?
lot of fascia work that happens through Pilates, and neuromotor control is a big part of it. But coming back to your
Yeah.
question about the desk based,
Sure. Yeah.
training your eyes is important. So please take breaks, which is why we say that if you're fixated on your and you've been concentrating too much on your
Mhm.
laptop and your phone, you
Mhm.
should kind of do certain eye exercises. Just basic side to side eye movement, up and down eye
Uh-huh.
movement. Looking at something green,
Mhm.
green refreshes your eyes. So looking at something green, hopefully
Mhm.
like a plant in a distance.
Which is hard to find now.
Just keep a potted plant on your desk,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and that really helps you feel re-energized and takes care a lot of the neck and the stress headaches
Mhm.
and the neck pain and the shoulder pain that people experience.
All right. Is there no soreness from the workout after a Pilates workout?
No, there can be. I wouldn't say that there is no
Okay.
soreness, but it depends on at what level of workouts you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, the soreness is not as bad as what you would experience
Mm-hmm.
with very strenuous,
So bearable.
bearable, and I think which is what I like.
Yeah.
I am moving to feel better.
Yeah.
I am not exercising to feel like a sack of potato for the next 3 days.
I know.
I used
And
to hate that. I used to
yeah.
hate that when I experimented with strength training very early on. Now I know where to stop.
Right.
But if you don't know what your body's limit is and you kind of go to an inexperienced trainer
Mm-hmm.
who are only pushing you for overloading, I used to find myself sitting on the bed unable to move my arm for the next 3 days.
Yeah.
I used to be very grumpy. And that is not what I am looking for in my workouts. I want to be able to do the other things that I'm required to do.
Yeah. Right.
Little
Because I
bit of
think
soreness, yes, is great. Makes you feel like you've done something. But if
yeah.
you're not able to move at all,
You see, because rightly said so, because when you go to the gym and typically we say, oh my God, I can't walk. I've had a leg day today. I can't take the stairs. I just can't walk. And I'm like, imagine the kind of pain. It
yeah.
is a torture.
See, any pain that lasts for beyond 24 hours means you have overpushed your body.
Uh-huh.
So, delayed onset of muscle soreness, which is what DOMS is, should not last beyond 24 hours. It usually will hit you the next day after your workout,
Mm-hmm.
but it should not go beyond 24 hours
Okay.
because that's too much of lactic acid buildup in your body.
Okay.
Your muscles have overextended themselves in terms of the load bearing capacity. So take it down a notch, build it up slowly.
Okay. Speaking of that, when we go to the gym, we have a small muscle group and a big muscle group to combine. And typically that's how we do it. And we hear the trainer saying, no, you had the leg day today. Let's do maybe biceps tomorrow and stuff like that. Is this how it works for Pilates also?
So, no. So,
Oh,
okay, just to sort of create a little bit more clarity around the
sure.
question
Sure.
that you've asked,
Yeah.
in the gym, there is no small muscle group workout.
Okay.
Until unless your trainer again is super qualified and is making you do some work on the stabilizer muscles around your joints. So when we say smaller muscle groups, we are always talking about muscle groups which are sitting very, very close to your joints. And again, usually we're talking about muscle groups that are around the shoulder joint, around your hip joint, and then something as what we call as your core muscles,
Mm-hmm.
which would be your breathing muscles and your pelvic floor. Now, in the gym, nobody's talking about these muscle groups
Yeah.
until unless, like I said, they're very like trained and very well aware. You are mostly working on the bigger muscle groups.
Okay.
So, and usually you will have a push day, you will have a pull day,
Uh-huh.
or you will have a chest day, a back day, and a leg day,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
And
And
then the
then
score.
and then core. which I don't know what that is, but sure. Okay. Because abs are not your core. But so that is how you end up segregating your workouts in a gym. In Pilates, we will be working on your smaller muscle groups, which are
Mhm.
your stabilizers. These are the muscles that help you stabilize the joint.
Ah,
And they don't require too much of resistance or too much of weight to work out in.
okay.
So something like your external rotation of the
Right.
shoulder, internal rotation of the shoulder, these are all very smaller muscle groups. You do them with very small resistances. See, because they're very small,
Uh-huh.
you can't load them up, they will break.
Oh.
And the idea is to activate them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do the bigger muscle groups, which will be the muscles, let's say, around your shoulders. So then
Uh-huh.
your biceps, your shoulder muscles, your chest muscles. These are the bigger muscles. In Pilates, you end up doing both,
Nice.
which is why it's such a great mix,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
Because you're first doing the activation and then you're doing the strengthening and the loading.
Okay.
So it is very important to do both,
Okay.
no matter what kind of workout you're doing.
All right. Interesting. Are there any myths that you usually come across from your clients or people who do not know about Pilates? I want you to talk about the myths.
So many Pilates is stretching.
Yes.
I've never stretched in my life. What kind of Pilates are you talking about? I've only come out feeling like I've had a very strong workout. You need to be flexible
Yeah.
to do Pilates. Complete myth.
Acha.
Complete myth. Like when there is a certain amount of flexibility that you require to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you're completely stiff as a board, you can still do Pilates,
Ah.
right? You need to be strong to do Pilates.
Hmm.
Complete myth.
Mm-hmm.
I've had postnatal women, 40 days, zero strength in the body, who are coming and doing Pilates.
What?
Yeah, because it's great for restoring your health
Yeah.
and your pelvic floor muscles and regaining strength back in your deep abs. So you don't need any kind of strength. I've had
Wow.
clients with spinal fusion surgeries who've come back after their surgeries
Wow.
and then they've started doing Pilates just to come back to health. Right? So there is no strength, whatever it is required.
Mm-hmm.
Pilates is only for women.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is a common one. Yes.
Just because you see more women doing it doesn't mean it's only for women, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, these are some of the
Uh-huh.
common myths. Reformer is Pilates.
Mm-hmm.
Reformer is a part of Pilates. There is so much more to Pilates than just reformers.
Okay. Speaking of reformers again, before I move to my rapid fire section, if somebody wants to buy an equipment at home and say that, okay, I have a
Mhm.
reformer bed at home
Mhm.
and I've learned the moves for 2 years, I'm going to do it at home. Is that possible?
Look, Niharika, I have been a teacher now for 14 years.
Yeah.
I will still not do Pilates without a teacher looking at me.
Yes. And I also advocate that always.
The whole idea is great if you have a reformer at home, first of all, because it's such an expensive piece of equipment. Okay. So good on you. You're so lucky to have one at home if you can. But the whole idea of moving on the reformer is to not just have muscle strength,
Mhm.
but like I said, also emphasize on the alignment and the muscle sequencing. How are
Okay.
you creating a movement? That is very hard to do on your own. You need to have somebody supporting you
Hmm.
in terms of cueing and alignment,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So ideally, it should always be done under supervision.
Okay. Okay.
But if you're moving on the reformer without any supervision, without a teacher support, I'm saying, well, it's great that you're moving, but I don't think you're getting the most out of it.
Yeah. So you're not sort of extracting the 100% of Pilates when you do it on your own. So people doing that, please understand
Yeah.
that do not practice this at home. I mean, you
No,
get
do it. Like I get a lot of clients who are like, oh, I've done Pilates for 2 years. And I'm like, amazing. Which studio? They're like, on YouTube. I'm like, okay, we need to revisit your concepts.
Because I feel so because so a simple example, and please correct me if I'm wrong again. If you do a plank, typically you would not be able to understand what is the your hip alignment, or have you gone a little higher than the required height. And I want someone to push it down or push it up to know, and then that is when suddenly the you start feeling the difference in your abs and say, oh my god, now I feel the pain of doing my plank.
See, revisiting my earlier point,
Mm-hmm.
600 hours of training.
Yeah.
I mean, give
That's
us
great.
some credit
Of course.
of knowing what we are talking
Of
about.
course. Of course.
Learning about the human
Of
anatomy,
course.
biomechanics,
Correct.
proper initiation of the exercise,
Right.
essence of the exercise. All
Yeah.
of that is expertise that we bring with us.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't think that can be replicated through a YouTube video.
No, which is why it is very important to also go to the right trainer.
Yes.
Because, and no offense meant here to anybody, but there are sometimes, situations where we go to a certain set of workout. It could be a gym or a Pilates, and we just doing stuff. Vis-a-vis when you have the correct trainer, and I've had that experience with Red Mat myself, and I've been on camera, off camera, I've been very blatant and blatantly truthful about this, into saying that, and I will not lie, I went to a lot of other places and I did cardio, I did workouts and everything, and I realized that. So remember when I came to you and I
Yes.
said, oh, I've done XYZ things and I need to sweat, I need to be, pushed out, it should be aggressive. And I remember you telling me that let's do a 45-minute trial class. And believe you me, those donkey years of workout that I had been doing vis-a-vis that 45-minute of class that I did with Taru, oh my God, I had that enlightenment. I felt better. For the first time, I felt those little, muscles in my body, which I never thought I had.
Yeah.
And to add to that, I had a spine problem and everything. I was on the verge of getting a surgery myself. And I remember I came to you and I said, I'm going to have a surgery. And we did Pilates for 2 years at a stretch. And my spine has since then never, ever needed to be checked by a
Knock
doctor.
on wood.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful for the Pilates that you've taught me as well. And I will really advocate and vouch for it. So people who don't understand Pilates, go to the right trainer. Go to the ones who are educated, who know their math, their game, their history, the geography, their business. Please find the right trainer, and she's the right one for you, as I know
Thank you.
of.
I really do wish that more and more people were not hesitant about asking the trainers about their qualifications. If you go to a doctor, don't you do your research?
Yeah, I think so too.
Then why wouldn't you do that with your trainers?
Of
Just
course.
because your friend lost 5 kgs with that particular trainer doesn't make it the right trainer for you.
I agree.
You
Yeah,
know,
I
do your
agree.
research, ask the right questions. You shouldn't be shy about wanting to know what is the expertise that your teacher is coming to you with.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, on that note, Saru, I'm going to have some fun takeaways with this. This is called my rapid fire
Mhm.
section, and you have to be quick. And
Sure.
whatever comes into your head first, we take that as the answer.
Oh my God.
Are you
okay.
ready?
No pressure, sure.
Okay. All right. So, a morning Pilates or an evening Pilates for you?
Morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
A favorite Pilates move of yours?
I love the Mermaid series on the short box.
Okay. All right. Reformers or Mats or Cadillac? Which one do you love the more?
Such a
The
hard
most.
question, Niharika. Such a hard question. I would go for the Reformer.
Yeah, yay,
Yay,
yay, me
yay.
too. All right. Harder to manage, a tough Pilates move or a late client?
Late client. And anybody who's ever been my client knows just how much of a stickler I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Okay. A celebrity you'd love to train at your studio of Red Mat.
I am manifesting Deepika Padukone.
You said it.
I am manifesting
Yay.
her.
So,
I would
Deepika, if
love
you're
to work
watching
with
or
her.
listening,
Yeah.
you know where to go.
Yeah.
All right. If Pilates was a person, what kind of personality would it have?
Very curious to learning, strong, people's person perhaps.
Yay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's you. Okay. One guilty pleasure snack after a long day of workout.
Dark chocolate.
Say that loud again.
Dark chocolate. And lots of it.
So you can
Truffles.
have all the chocolate you need. Yeah. After the session, of course. Yeah.
Pre also sometimes. I don't guilt myself into having dark chocolate.
Okay. All right. One wellness trend you totally wish is banished.
Nothing is coming to mind, really. I think everything has a fad. No, nothing really comes to mind.
Okay.
No,
All right.
nothing.
Your favorite song to train to?
Oh, it's a slightly older song,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
big energy.
Uh-huh.
I love that song.
Which one?
I forget the name of the singer. Big energy. Lota, if I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
wrong. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Complete the sentence. Life is like Pilates because.
You never know what you will find.
All right, then. You've done very well. Oh, yeah, you've done a good job there, Tharu.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, and this has been absolutely delightful, Tharu. We've had some wonderful insights and takeaways from the discussion on Pilates. And I'm sure people watching this would explore more on Pilates, do away with the myths, understand the science behind Pilates. It works. It really, really works. It works holistically. Yeah, Taru, any takeaway signing off messages for the clients watching?
It's never too late to start.
Yes, it's never too late to start. All right, everyone watching Hash Brown, please write to us at hashbrownconversations@gmail.com if you have any questions from Taru or me, or you want us to address your Pilates concerns and issues. You can also look up Red Mat on Instagram and connect with her directly and have your sessions booked. Yeah. On that note, Taru, it's been wonderful again. I look forward to seeing you again sometime soon.
Likewise. Thank you
Thanks.
so much for having me.
You're most welcome. Well, life is short. Let's do more of Pilates. Yes, and it's always wonderful to have a little bit of hash brown by your side. Thank you for all the listeners and viewers watching. Until next time, see you. Bye.